If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight, new content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde, keep on bringing the heat. Now they know that we driven, and they know we quitting. Yoshi end up the winner, keep on bringing the energy. Unity, unity, unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Bring back learner, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma's karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 divine winters, Clyde winters, mind bender, Clyde winters, I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters, give respect to the elder, Clyde winters, I somebody out there looking for me. I told you somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me.
We have to live by God. We have to live by God. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not blamed. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I am not wrong. I am not struck kill. I am not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about on the song. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against somebody out there looking for me. Love, love, love.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
What up, though? What up, though? Hey, how you guys doing, family? You know, Ancient Black Spirituality, Just Eve, Demetrius, Shepherd, Nadi. What up, though? This is a great day. This is a great day. You know, just like Just Eve said. What did she say? She said, brilliance first, right? Black first. I'm glad you guys are ready for the class about the Meroitic script. I've been interested in the Meroitic script, you know, for many years, you know. And when I was about 10 years old, you know, for the first time in my school, I think I was at Revis. Yeah, I was at Revis. over in Inglewood on Drexel Avenue, around 51st, 49th, 51st, something like that. But anyway, I was at Revis, and this was the first year. Most of the time they would give the black schools, the old textbooks. On the north side got through. White kids on the north side got through having the books. They would send them to us. But this particular year, when I was 10, they brought in some new books, some new social studies books, and on the cover of these social studies books, it had these explorers, and I was fascinated by that because that made me decide I was going to be an explorer, you see. But then over the days and weeks, I started thinking, I said, damn, how can I be an explorer? What happened in Roy Wooter? What up there in the Netherlands? I started saying, damn, how can I be an explorer? These guys had already discovered every country, everything. And so right then and there, when I was 10 years old, I decided that I was going to be the first. I was going to be the first to do this or the first to do that. And I decided I was going to be the first person to discuss various aspects of the history of Black and African people. Yes, 10 years old. It's amazing because I have to admit that I first learned the Egyptians were Black. I didn't learn it in school, but I learned that by going to church. Because by going to church, they talked about the Egyptians were the children of Ham. They say we were Ham, so I knew automatically that we were the greatest people on earth. But at 10 years old, I made that decision that I was going to be an explorer. And I was a little depressed at first because white folks had discovered everything, so they claim. So I said, I'm going to make my entry into history. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the script. I've tried to decipher a lot of different languages. I deciphered the Meroitic script, the Indus Valley writing, the Minoan A, the Olmec writing, the Proto-Saharan. I have a lot of ancient scripts. And the reason that I deciphered a whole lot of ancient scripts is that when I was going to university, we had what was called area studies. And back in the day, you had to learn a foreign language, to be able to get a master's degree. And in fact, because of the fact that when I went to Illinois, I was very interested in African history and Islamic history. And the main instructor was a professor called Charles Stewart. I think he retired a couple of years ago from the University of Illinois. Well, anyway, Charles Stewart, he grew up in Oak Park, but you wouldn't know because he always tried to talk with a British accent. And so then, in the class, because of the fact that back in the early 70s, about 1970, 69, because of the fact in the sense that the only literature on Muslims in Africa was written in French or Arabic, those were the textbooks that he would bring up. Luckily, as I've told you guys before, I studied French in high school so I could learn the langue, because I wanted to be that super Negro who could speak French and just drive the girls wild with my romantic French accent. But again, that's another story. And so I learned, I found out about Gia back then and all that because of the fact that because I had studied French, and I had a very good French teacher. It's real good back then, I mean, even as late as the 1970s, I was still writing articles in French. Even 1990s, I was writing articles in French. I published a couple articles in French and a couple articles in Swahili. But for the most part, I just wanted to learn the languages to be able to read these languages, And as a result, that's what I wanted to really do, Parlez-vous? Oh, yeah, yes. Laughing out loud. You speak too, huh? Okay, I'm glad you speak French. Yeah, But again, the thing is that it's very wonderful because I found in a sense that we have to learn languages to be able to be constructed, to be able to go and even learn about our history. And so I learned a lot of languages, at least. But I tried to do because of the fact that when I graduated from Illinois, I came out with a BA and my MA, and I got them in what, 4 years. I didn't go to summer. I went to some. My wife was pregnant, and she was having my my second child, Omari. And so then, since she was having him, not Omar, no, that was Clyde Jr. So she was having Clyde Jr., so I had to stay down in Urbana. And so I only spent 1 year in summer school, but so I got my master's MBA in just 4 years. And so then as a result, we were in area studies. So luckily I learned a lot of languages. Because I spoke French, I could get to it. And then I decided, as I told you, since I was 10 years old, that I was going to be an explorer. And I was going to be the man. Yes, I was going to be that guy who found out the first and most important elements of our history. That's one of the reasons why I learned how to decipher Meroitic, how to decipher Sumerian, and all that other stuff. But what I want to do today, I want to talk about my decipherment of the Meroitic script. The Meroitic script was a writing system that was used in the in the modern country today. We call maybe Nubia or the Sudan. And this is the language that the Kushites used during the Meroitic period. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. So I want to make sure that we do this. I had shown that thing earlier, my introductory video, and that was made by Yoshimad the Genius. Yoshimad has made some very wonderful videos. And you should go to his website and you should support Yoshimad the Genius. Because see, Yoshimad, in a sense, he's made some videos that make you think. And I think one of his best videos is on the. I want to play that for you guys.
The ancients have chose me. This happens often. The scale is now tipping. We must prepare for that. The world is dangerous. It's all show. Rain falls down. Most people don't know. Tables turn. All our enemies burn. Ashes, ashes, dust to dust. Oh, know how to get you. Wake your whole ass up. We battled before. We're still in this war. My patience is over and gone. You protect yours, and I'll protect mine. You protect yours, and I'll protect mine. You and I are on the front line. Don't let them lie to you. We've been here this whole time. I'm telling you. And I've been on this front line. Don't let. We've been here this whole time.
We are on the front line. Yes, we are on the front line. And the reason we're on the front line is that we're fighting a war. And this war is for the mind of our children. The war is for the mind of other foundational Black Americans. We had to, in a sense, allow our people to learn the truth. That's why Yoshimad the Genius made that video. Because, see, the most important thing, in a sense, that we have to do is we have to understand our FBA roots, Yoshimad, he also made a song, and this song is FBA Roots. He hasn't made a video for it, but I put some pictures with it because you have to understand what this fight is all about. This fight is about our roots. This fight is about what we are. Yes, we have to fight for FBA roots.
but their plans soon fail. See, Dr. Clyde's light shines beyond bright. We the black aboriginals are righteous in this fight. FBA roots, FBA roots, FBA roots.
The truth is in your face. You can't hide from it. It's there. You know, every time you look in the mirror, a beautiful black melanated face. Yes, yes, yes. It may be caramel. It may be black. It may be brown. It may be red, but it's still melanated. And it's the beauty. Yes, it's the beauty of this melanation that allows us to be who and what we are. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Isn't that what it's all about? It's all about, in a sense, understanding who you are. It's all about understanding where you came from. And the only way you can understand who you are, where you came from, is to understand your history. That's why I come here every week. I come here every Thursday to talk to you about various aspects of our history, because I want to, in a sense, spread the truth, because we've been lied to plenty. We've been lied to a mighty. And so that's what I'm here for. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get started today. We're going to talk about the Meroites. The Meroitic people lived in ancient Nubia. And let's kind of get started, and we're going to discuss the decipherment of Meroitic, you know, and let's get it popping. You know, because it needs to be, you know, it needs to be discussed and stuff. So that's what we're going to do. Boom. Boom. So let's move on over. The decipherment of Meroitic. You know, here you can see some of the pyramids. I bet you didn't know that that the vast majority of pyramids in Africa are not found in Egypt. No, they're not found in Egypt. The majority of pyramids are found in the ancient Sudan and the Kushite Empire. They built many beautiful, beautiful pyramids. Here's some inscriptions. Here we can see Amenarenas, and and she's talking with the god, and the king on the far right is Tanya Damani. Back in the day, one of the first Meroitic long stellas that I deciphered was the stela of Tanya Damani. I did that back in 1999, and I was very lucky that it was published in this journal called Nubia. It doesn't exist today. The decipherment of the Meroitic language. Yes, the Meroitic language. This is the language of the Meroites. It was the language of these black people, these Kushites that lived in the Sudan, these people who wanted, in a sense, to help us to know and learn about this ancient people. Let the researcher do the research. Yes. Let the researcher do the research. You too can be a researcher. And how you can be a researcher is, follow this program, look at some of my ideas, and then maybe you can take it further. Yes. You can go to my Patreon to see the slides. And I want you to join my Patreon because it's through my Patreon that I'm able, in a sense, to have these, to produce these weekly programs. A lot of material I use is up-to-date material. Often this up-to-date material is behind a paywall. It could be maybe for an article in a magazine or an article in a newspaper. And so that I need monies for that. Also, to get the latest information, I might have to buy books. And some of these books can cost hundreds of dollars. Yes, hundreds of dollars, So again, I'm able to do this because of the support of my Patreon followers. Please join my Patreon. Go to Patreon, look for Clyde Winters. Join my Patreon, support me. Here you can see my videos. I've got on this station almost 400 videos, if not even, if you count the shorts, maybe about 400 videos. And these videos discuss all aspects of Black history. Yes, all aspects of Black and African and Aboriginal history. So go check out the videos on this website so you can learn more about your history. And you can order my books at Amazon.com. We're talking about the Meroitic language, which I deciphered back in the 1980s. These are some of the books that you can get. For example, my book on the literature and language of the ancient Meroites, the Meroitic Chamber of Philae, the Kushite Prince, Akhenaten, and Meroitic relations with Tochari and the Nile Valley languages. Now, that is the key book. Meroitic relations with Tochari and the Nile Valley languages. In this book, I tell you how I deciphered the Meroitic script, and I provide the proof. Yes, I provide the proof. Back in the day, many people who had tried to decipher the Meroitic script, they thought that it may be related to Nubian, but then they found that it wasn't related to Nubian and all of that type of stuff. But what I show in my book, Meroitic Relations with Tocharian and the Nile Valley Languages, what I do in that book is that I show that, in fact, Meroitic is related to many languages spoken in the Sudan today. Yes. It's just that the way they looked at these languages, they didn't look at them accurately, and they didn't really discuss the material in a constructive way. See, one of the things that made it possible for me to understand the Meroitic writing and also the literature of the Meroites is because of the fact that I'm a comparative linguist. I've always liked comparative linguistics, but one of the biggest problems with comparative linguistics is that they don't really have a course in most universities. Like even when I taught linguistics at St. Xavier University in Chicago, I wasn't teaching comparative and historical linguistics. I was teaching applied linguistics because most of the time, in a sense, you had to learn how to do comparative linguistics on your own, or you had to get a good textbook. If you're interested in learning more about comparative linguistics and historical linguistics in relation to Black and African people, get my book, African Historical Linguistics, anti-Diopian comparative and historical linguistic methods. In this book, I talk about how, in a sense, to do research in historical and comparative linguistics. As I said to you before, is that most of the time, to learn this, they base it on a particular area. Like if you're learning, if you're learning European languages, comparative linguistics, and historical linguistics, you're going to study Indo-European. So they have examples from European languages. If you're going to study languages in Mesoamerica, they're going to have, in a sense, maybe a language from the Malay or the Mishizaki, languages spoken down in Mexico. Well, in a sense, in my book, African Historical Linguistics, Anti-Diapian Comparative and Historical Linguistic Methods, what I do in this is that I use examples from African languages. And this is the only book where you're going to see examples from African languages used to discuss how to do the comparative and historical linguistic method. Then my other book, Archaeological Decipherment of Ancient Writing Systems, what I do is I explain to you how I deciphered the Indus Valley script, the Olmec script, the Meroitic script, you see, and other ancient writing systems. I explain to you how I decipher these languages and how you can maybe decipher these languages too. So get my book, Archaeological Decipherment of Ancient Writing Systems. And of course, my book, Meroitic Writing and Literature. In this book, I break down the Meroitic language, and you're going to be able, in a sense, to read any Meroitic inscription. Yes, you will be able to read any Meroitic inscription if you get my book, Meroitic Writing and Literature. I have a dictionary that's online too that you can go to supplement some of the material in this text. Decipherment of Meroitic language. Yes, learn. See, some people hate the truth. Yes. Some people hate the truth. Many of these people who hate the truth are Black people. You would say to yourself, why would some Black people hate to see the truth? Some Black people would hate to see the truth because the fact is that the truth is scary. The truth is very scary. And the reason that the truth is scary is because the fact, in a sense, is that a lot of people are ashamed. A lot of people don't want to know. A lot of Black people, they don't want to know that we have a history. A lot of Black people want to know that we have a really good culture, and a culture that's not, in a sense, ratchet, and a culture that's not dominated by people like Sukahani and Sexy Red. Our culture is rich, our culture is vibrant. And even in a sense, so they run away from this. And then when I talk about various historical experiences, it's scary, it's almost like knocking them out. It's almost like making their whole brain explode. And the reason that their brain is exploding is because some people hate the truth. You see in that character behind that boxer. Look at his mouth. Damn, he's shocked, he's stressed. And this is what sadly, many Black people, they don't want to know their culture. They don't want to know their history because they feel very comfortable in believing that Europeans will lead them in the right path. They feel very comfortable being coons. They feel very comfortable feeling inferior to whites instead of understanding that you do have a great history. We have a great history. Yes. And people say, well, why are you going to Africa? Oh, because the fact is that our roots not only lie here, they did bring some Africans over here. And some of these Africans that they brought over here as chattel slaves, they joined the Aboriginal Blacks who were already here, along with Black Europeans. So we have a diverse history. So it's good to know the history of all Black people. And that's why I'm talking about Meroitic history today. Here's a Meroitic stela. Here you can see some of the characters on this writing system. Last week I talked about the fact, I think I talked about the fact that much of this is based upon, in a sense, the Tocharian script. And because of the fact that many other people who lived in the Sudan back in the day were Buddhists. Yes, Buddhism originated. Buddhism did not originate in India. Buddhism originated in the Nile Valley. In fact, the research is showing us that much of the literature, when they talk about, the various flying craft, and they talk about, in a sense, the wars, in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, even though, in a sense, people take these books and believe that these books are about things that happened in India. No, they didn't happen in India. And in fact, no, most of the scholars who read these books know that many of the sites are not even in India. The sites for these books, the sites for this ancient history is the Nile Valley. Yes. That's because many of the Tamil people, just like Kamala Harris, many Tamil people, they came from the Nile Valley and they settled in India. Yes, they settled in India. And this is a stela that the Meroitic people of Meroe left us. Why Meroitic? Meta is the common true ancient Egyptian name for the language of Kemet, Egypt. Anti-Diop in the first volume of the UNESCO History of Africa discussed the term Kemet, etc. And we know in a sense that these words relate to the blackness and the black god, and they relate in a sense to the ancient Egyptian people who called themselves the Kametru, the black people of the black land. But the Kushites, in a sense, they preferred in a sense to call themselves Kush or Hawks, or Kushites. They saw themselves in a sense, they had a similar history. They had an almost, almost the same culture, but they wanted to be expressed as either Kushites instead of, in a sense, Comedians. Diop, an origin of ancient Egyptians, made it clear that the Egyptians identified themselves as Kametru. Kemet was the divine epitaph of their major gods. The reality that Diop did outline the meaning of Kemet in writing using linguistic methods falsifies Amenhotep's claim that Diop failed to explain that Kemet meant black. One of the best books that I used to really be able to decipher the Meroitic script was The Peopling of Ancient Egypt and the Deciphering of the Meroitic Script. This is a book that everybody should read who really want to understand the history of the Kushites, the Meroitic people, because in this book, Anti-Diop and several other scholars, including Theophile Obinga, what they do in a sense is they break down the reality. Yes. They break down the reality that the ancient Meroitic script, in a sense, was of African origin, and the Meroitic script was used by black people in Kush. So you got to get this book, because Anti-Diop, he really signaled, in a sense, the best ways to be able to decipher this language. And I took his advice, and I was able to decipher it. Egypt was a Pan-African nation. It was made up of 42 sepets, or nomads. And these nomads, in a sense, are like the city-states and stuff like that. Each sepet had his own god. And each sepet, the people spoke a different language. Yes. And each sepet, and it was 42 of them as part of ancient Egypt, in each of these different sepets, they had their own native language. As a result, Meta was a lingua franca. Meta was the national language of Kemet, or Egypt. And the Kushites of Nubia for thousands of years. Yes, the Kushites, they also used in a sense, Meta as a lingua franca. And the reason they used Meta is that there was no dominant population that spoke Meta. And as a result, in a sense, there was no way that the other people would be feeling jealous living in a confederated state. A confederation is almost, in a sense, like a republic, in the sense that it's made up of more than one nation or more than one country. There are many mysteries concerning the Meroides of the Meroitic civilization of Nubia and the Sudan. This ancient civilization lasted for hundreds of years and has left us many wonderful monuments. In addition to many grand monuments, the Meroides left us a written language. Although scholars were able to read the letters of this ancient Kushite writing for many years, up to now, the full meaning of the Meroitic text have eluded them. They didn't know what it was. Today, we can read the Meroitic text in their entirety using the cognitive language of Meroitic, which I discovered was Tocharian. Yes, Tocharian. Francis Llewellyn Griffin was the first one, in a sense, to make us aware of the fact that the Meroides had their own language, and he was able to decipher the language. He couldn't read the language, but he could decipher the language because he found that the Meroitic script was related to some of the Egyptian writing. Although the linguists called this language Tocharian in Central Asia, the people of Meroe, the Kushites, had their own alphabet of 23 signs. This was a wonderful improvement over hieroglyphic writing, which was made up of numerous ideographic and phonetic signs. Prior to the introduction of Meroitic, the Meroides used Egyptian hieroglyphics. Francis Llewellyn Griffin, an Egyptologist, was able to decipher the Meroitic script over 60 years ago. Yes. Although Griffin deciphered Meroitic, we were unable to read the writing because we did not know the cognate language. Using the comparative method, I was able to discover that Tocharian is cognitive meroitic. This led to the full decipherment of the meroitic script. We can now read meroitic using the Tocharian language. Maurice Poe, he wrote a very interesting book on the archaeological decipherment of ancient scripts. Maurice Poe in the story of archaeological decipherments made it clear that before an unknown language can be deciphered, you must have the right theoretical structure to base your inquiry upon. Poe found that in historical decipherments of ancient languages, three primary conditions must be met. Number one, confidence that a script can be deciphered. That's the first thing you have to believe. Number two, you had to find a location of proper names and maybe place names. And once you can find the location of proper names, in a sense, you'll be able to say, aha, that this is a name that they may have used to call themselves. And then you find the other adjectives, nouns, and verbs and things like that. Number three, the grammatical rules of the target language or script must be found. These are the three requirements. One, confidence that you can decipher it. You have to know the proper names, and you have to try to, in a sense, learn the grammatical rules. I was able to read meroitic because these preliminary conditions were met, and we were able to develop new hypotheses based on historical evidence to determine the cognitive language of meroitic. Condition number 1 and 2 were met by Griffin when he deciphered the meroitic script in 1910, and his discovery of the proper names of the meroitic gods and individuals in meroitic texts. Griffin also discovered the direction of the meroitic writing was written. This recognition by Griffin of the salability of the meroitic text was reinforced in 1978 with publication of UNESCO's The Peopling of Ancient Egypt, the book I showed you earlier, The Peopling of Ancient Egypt and the Decipherment of the Meroitic Script. This is an important publication because it provided researchers with up-to-date information on the status of meroitic. Condition number 3 for the decipherment of meroitic was met in 1979 when Fritz Hentz published his Beiträge zur merotischen Grammatik. The research of F. Hensel, 1979, and I. Hoffman, 1981, have made it possible for us to find the cognitive language of meroitic. The work of Griffin and Heinz fulfilled all the requirements for the decipherment of the meroitic language. The classical literature supported the view that we might be able to find the meroitic cognitive language through a comparison of meroitic terms and Kushan lexical items. Kushan is the name of the Tocharian people who used, in a sense, the Tocharian writing system in Asia. These were mainly Buddhists. And you can find out more about this when you get my book, Meroitic Writing and Literature. And that I go into detail in terms of explaining my decipherment. UNESCO's The Peopling of Ancient Egypt and the Decipherment of the Meroitic Script was an important publication because it provided researchers with up-to-date information on the status of meroitic. You got to get this book. And, luckily, many of this was published by UNESCO. And this book, along with other volumes in the history of Africa, can be downloaded. They're online. They can be downloaded. So you don't have to really purchase the book. I had to purchase it back in the day. But now, luckily, you don't have to purchase the book. You can download the book. It's online, along with the other books in its series on its, studies and documents in its general history of Africa. So you can find this book online. Before I began work on meroitic, other research had already falsified the African theory for meroitic cognitive language. Meroitic is not related to languages spoken in this area. Griffin and Haycock tried to read meroitic using Nubian, and they failed. K.H. Priest tried to read the meroitic text using Eastern Sudani. He also failed. The fact that not even Nubian, a language spoken by a people who were engaged in constant conflict with the Meroites, made it clear that we must look elsewhere for the cognate language by Meroites. And you couldn't look for the cognate language in the Sudan. And this is what many of the scholars had found before me. The idea that the Meroites spoke Nubian had been revised by Riley. Recently, Riley has suggested that we may be able to read Meroitic using Proto-Eastern Sudani. We must reject this alleged breakthrough in Meroitic linguistics on 2 points. He believes Nubia can be used to interpret Meroitic when the Nubians were never part of the Meroitic Confederation. Yes, yes, yes. Nubians were never part of the Meroitic Confederation. They were their enemies. And 2, you cannot read a dead language based on proto-terms because a proto-language is purely theoretical and not be proven as ever existing in the real world. Yes, yes, yes. Most proto-languages, they're made-up languages. You know, what we do when you reconstruct a proto-language, what you do is that you look at terms within the members of a particular language family. Once you look at the terms for members in a particular linguistic family, the next thing you do in a sense is that you compare them, and then you see at the elements that they share, especially in relation to where the consonants are placed. You don't really look for the vowels because most of the ancient writing systems, they didn't really include the vowels, but they did have the consonants. So you compare the consonants, and if you can see a similar placement of consonants at specific locations in a word that agree with other words in relation to where the consonants are placed, then you can see a relationship through a use of comparative linguistics. Flavius Philostratus, the writer of Vita Apolloni, claimed that the gymnosophists of Meroe originally came from India. C.F.C. Coinbird, Philostratus, The Life of Apollonius of Tyana. Given the fact that the Kushan had formerly ruled India around the time that the Meroitic writing system was introduced to the Kushite civilization, led to the hypothesis that the ancestors of the gymnosophists may have been Kushana philosophers, and that these Kushana philosophers would have introduced their writing system to the Meroitic people. I mean, it seemed a gel to me. The historical evidence of the Kushana having ruled India made the classical references to Indians in Meroe an important source for the construction of alternative theories about the possible location of the cognate language of the Meroites. Yes, yes, yes. Meroites came from India. You know, according to the life of Apollonius, the Meroites were formerly led by a king Ganges, who had repulsed the Scythians, who invaded this land from across the Caucasus. Philostratus also made it clear that the Indians of Meroe came to this country after their king was killed. The presence of this tradition of an Indian king of the Indian Meroites conquering the Scythians predict that the Indian literature should record this historical episode. This prediction is supported by a Jaina text called the Kalake Haryar Kana Karla Hagara, that when the Scythians invaded Malwa, the king of Malwa called the Vikramaditya defeated the Scythians. The king Vikramaditya may be the Ganges mentioned in the life of Apollonius. Confirmation of the Ganges story supports the classical literature evidence that there were Indianized Meroites that could have introduced the Tocharian trade language to the Meroites. Yes, so again, in a sense, we have this text, and this text says that there were Indians, Kushana, Indians who had brought from India, had in a sense maybe introduced the writing in, in the Meroitic Sudan. That's why in a sense today people are always convoluted and say, oh, what is this whole mess about Kamala Harris being black? She's not black. She's Asian. Yes, but there's always been a close relationship. I repeat, there's always been a close relationship between the black people in India and the black people in Africa, because the black people in India came from the Nile Valley. Yes, yes. They migrated from the Nile Valley to India. And now we see in the story from Apollonius, we see that there were also Indians who migrated back from India, migrated from India back to, in a sense, the Meroitic Sudan or to Africa. The Dabra Demo. In addition to the classical mention of the Indians settling Meroe, we also have a hoard of Kushana coins that were found on the floor of a cave at the present monastery shrine at Dabra Demo in modern Ethiopia in 1940. Moreover, there were other Indians in North Africa in addition to Kush Meroe. For example, at Quizir al-Qadim, there was a large Indian-speaking community. These Indians were in Egypt writing messages in their own language. Around the time we see a switch from Egyptian hieroglyphics to the Meroitic writing system. All of this supported the tradition of the Meroites that speak of a knowledge of the Kushana Indians among the Meroites. I constructed 3 testable hypotheses in support of the Kushana theory, and it seems only fair that these variables must be disconfirmed to falsify the Kushana hypothesis. Yes. Hypothesis 1. If the Meroites used a writing system of non-African origin, a tradition mentioning this fact will exist. This hypothesis was confirmed. The classical literature mentions Indian scholars in ancient Meroe, as I discussed earlier. Hypothesis 2. If the classical literature mentions Indians who lived in Egypt influenced the Meroites, there should be historical evidence relating to this tradition. Hypothesis 2 was confirmed. Classical literature mentions a king who left this country, as mentioned in the Jaina text called the Kalakaryar Kotarnaka. Hypothesis 3. If classical literature is true about the Indian origin of the Gymnosophists, Indians will be found living near the Meroites around the time of the Meroitic inscriptions appear. This hypothesis was also confirmed. Artifacts and coins with Indian inscriptions have been found in Egypt and in Kush or Ethiopia. Failure to disconfirm the theorem implies validity of my predictions. Yes. My confirmation of the above in 1, the presence of Kushites in Africa and Asia. 2, shared place names. 3, Ahsoka sent many Buddhist missionaries to Egypt who wrote their scriptures in the Kharosthi and Tocharian. 4, a Blamaya, native to the Meroitic Empire, is mentioned in the numerous Buddhist Pali texts. 5, the presence of Kushana sages and Indians who migrated to Meroe. Cognitive lexical items, cognitive verbs, and cognitive grammatical features all indicate the systematic, controlled, critical, and empirical investigation of the question of Kushana representing the Meroitic cognitive language. My decipherment of Meroitic allows us to compare Meroitic with African languages. The result of the comparative linguistic research makes it clear that Meroitic is related to Egyptian and many African languages spoken in the Nile Valley, such as Beha, Nubian, and Sudanese Arabic. As a result of these facts, we can now use Tocharian or Kushana to read the Meroitic text. The historical evidence makes it clear that the Meroites were probably not strangers to Kharosthi literacy, since the Gymnosophists had been in Upper Egypt and Meroitic empires for hundreds of years. Yes, the Gymnosophists, that was the ancient name for the people we call Buddhists, who practiced the Buddhist philosophy. The Meroitic Confederation was made up of various Sudanese or Nile Valley people living in Kush. As a result, the Meroites needed a language they could use for common communication among the Meroites. This language was Meroitic Franca. As a result, Meroitic is related to many Sudanese languages spoken today and in the past. Meroitic was a lingua franca. It united the diverse Kushite speakers into a unified nation within the Meroitic Empire. Yes. You can look you can look at this map and you can see this is the Meroitic Empire or the Kushite Empire. You can see some of the major centers where the various Kushites lived, and you can see the Kushite heartland and the outlying areas. Why don't you take a minute to you can look at that map and observe it. The Meroitic Confederation was made up of various Sudanese or Nile Valley people living in Kush. As a result, the Meroites needed a language they could use for common communication among the Meroites. This language was Meroitic. The Meroitic language was a lingua franca. As a result, Meroitic is related to many Sudanese languages spoken today and in the past. Meroitic was a lingua franca. It united the diverse Kushite Sudanese speakers into a unified nation within the Meroitic Empire. The major problem in determining the linguistic history of the Nile Valley is that due to the multiplicity of languages spoken in the Nile Valley, the two major civilizations, ancient Egypt and Kush, Napata and Kerma, and the Meroitic Kushite Empire, used Egyptian as a lingua franca to provide the mixed populations living in these confederations a single means of communication. The Egyptians and Kushites used the lingua franca, so no single ethnic group living in the Egyptian and Kushite confederations would be recognized as superior to the other ethnic groups living in these nations by having its language recognized as the national language. That's why they wanted, in a sense, to not have a language that was spoken by one particular group as a national language, because in that way it might make the other people jealous. And this is a way to unify the people and to unify these diverse people who spoke diverse languages by having a lingua franca that united all the languages spoken by these people. To read Meroitic, I chose Kushan for two reasons. Firstly, Philostratus claimed that the Gymnosophists of Kush, Gymnosophists again were Buddhists. The Gymnosophists of Kush, who settled on the Nile, descended from the Brahmins of India, having been forced to migrate after the murder of their king. This passage pointed to the Kushana who left China in 176 BC, after the murder of their king. Because both of these groups call themselves Kushana, it suggests that they may be related, given the classical tradition for a migration of Indians to Kush. Moreover, C.B. Rawlinson, in Notes on the Early History of Babylonia, discussed the Kushites of Asia and Africa. By 540 BC, the Kushites moved their capital from Napata to Meroe, which had been a provincial town within the kingdom. Here in Meroe was a major center of ironworking in Africa. From here, caravans took Meroitic goods east and west into Africa and other countries bordering on the Indian Ocean. The people of Meroe long had writing, which probably appeared around 4000 BC. They used the Demotic script and hieroglyphics during the period of Kushite history. After Egypt went into decline and Egyptians migrated out of Egypt into Meroe, the Meroitic people invented a cursive script which originated in Central Asia. This writing was written in the Kushana language of Central Asia. The Meroitic script used many Kharosthi signs. Here you can see, look on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, you can see a comparison of the Meroitic writing and the Kharosthi writing. As you can see, take a minute and look at these inscriptions, and you can see how they have, a lot of complete, form and similarity. So you can take a minute and look at those particular symbols from the Meroitic script and the Kharosthi script. Okay. Also, in a sense, to test the Kushan hypothesis, we had the next thing I did is I wanted to see if there was some shared place names. Place names in a sense are just names that you find on many maps. What I did is I compared some of the place names in Central Asia and Egypto-Sudanese toponyms or place names. And when I compared the Kushan and Meroitic grammatical forms, here you can see some of the place names found in Central Asia, such as Pap, Karnak, Kukushaka, Sor, Kandi, Orban, Hara, Kapuri. You can see how these place names found in Central Asia are also, yes, also found in the Sudan. That can't be a coincidence, can it? And so that shows, in a sense, that possible carryover of an interaction between the people in Central Asia. He can find some other place names. These are place names in the Sudan, and we find Pap, Karnak, Kukagusha, Sora, Kandi. We find these same place names that were in Asia, Central Asia. Here we see these place names on the map of Central Asia, and we find similar place names in the Sudan. Yes, yes. Or the ancient Meroitic Empire. This was further confirmation. These shared place names in Central Asia and in the Sudan or the Meroitic Empire. That was further confirmation that I was on the right track, and that by using Tocharian to read in a sense the Meroitic writing, I was not, in a sense, going too far away or going off the track, because we found what? Not only in a sense of similarity of signs, as I showed you, we also find that they shared place names. Yes, you find many place names in Central Asia that are also found in the Sudan. Yes, yes. Again, this was further confirmation of my Kushana theory that the Meroites had a writing system, and this writing system was based upon the Kushana writing system. There were many Buddhists living in Meroe. These Buddhists used the Karathi script to write their literature. Buddhism was introduced to Meroitic Sudan by the Kushana people of Central Asia. The Kushana were blacks who spoke a Dravidian language. Here you can see in this picture, you can see some of the Kushana symbols. Here you can see Abidemek, the lion god. You can see how he is represented in the Meroitic Sudan, just like many of the Buddhist or Hindu gods. We also have, in a sense, a picture of one of the Kushana rulers, and we can see the Karathi writing on these coins. These are all, again, in a sense, we see these affinities. We see the fact that there was shared place names, shared writing symbols, shared cultural elements. Because many Meroites were Buddhists, Kushana was already known in the Nile Valley, which was made up of people who spoke various languages, Sudanese languages, who were Buddhists. It is obvious that the Meroites were influenced by Buddhism, given the Buddhist elements in Meroitic iconography and culture. Since Kushana was not nativized in the Meroitic Sudan Empire, and when I say Kushana, I'm Kusharian, the Tocharian language is not called Tocharian. The people who made this language, they called their language Kushana. Since Kushana was nativized in the Meroitic Empire, lexical items from the local language were often, over the years, were adopted into Kushana. Meroitic was probably what linguists called a coin language. A coin language developed as a result of people speaking a variety of speech who are in contact with each other that are mutually intelligible dialects. Languages that are considered by their speakers to be of equal cultural and political prestige prefer to use a coin so as not to show disrespect to the various speakers of the related languages. Yes, yes, yes. And that's why, in a sense, we find that people in the Meroitic Sudan were making these beautiful tablets in the Meroitic writing system. A good example of a coined language today in the Sudan is colloquial Sudanese Arabic. Colloquial Sudanese Arabic is a Sudanese Arabic dialect. It allows Sudanese ethnic groups representing diverse speaking populations to converse in a mutually intelligible language. As a result, the Meroites created a coin with Kushana as the base language to serve as a lingua franca to unite the various people in the Meroitic Empire. The Meroitic people were unified by the Meroitic language, which is used as a lingua franca. Yes, yes, yes. It was black men and women who were able, in a sense, to take these symbols, these meroitic symbols, and they would put these meroitic symbols on various stelas and monuments so that they could tell us their story, they could tell us about them. So what I did in a sense is that once I had determined that there was a relationship between Tocharian, and that Tocharian was probably the language that was spoken by the people of Meroe, what I did is I compared, in a sense, various Meroitic terms to the Sudanese Arabic dialect. You see, for example, we found that father is an Arabic word. We find in the Meroitic script ab and ab for father. We could also see that the religion and the pray, which was asel in South Sudanese, was also found in the Meroitic group as asel. You see, and so again, in a sense, here you can see some of the cognate terms that I was able to find from the Sudanese Arabic dialect that are also found in the Meroitic language. And see, this was easily predicted, because see, whenever you have a good hypothesis, you're going to be able to make predictions that, in a sense, prove. And so then, because of the fact that, in a sense, that Meroitic was in a lingua franca, it is only natural that you're going to find a relationship between the Sudanese Arabic dialect and Meroitic words. In addition to finding a relationship between Meroitic words and, in a sense, the Sudanese Arabic, you can also find that there's a relationship between Meroitic words and Beha words. Beha is another language that was spoken there. The vocabulary are interesting, but since they come from a grammar book, there was not enough to provide an extensive comparison. I only had a grammatical book, so I couldn't really, in a sense, show you more terms. Meroitic and Beha share many grammatical features. For example, the pronouns are usually suffixed to verbs, e.g., Beha tebi, she went. Meroitic, ti, he goes. In Beha, adi is used to indicate the complete action. Taman adi, I ate it completely. Meroitic, I serves the same purpose again. Nea, he has become completely learned. In both languages, the adverb is placed behind the noun. Beha, takida, small man. Meroitic, peteas, bid, praise, and pedas, manifest praise. In Beha, the future tense is formed by indi. Tamia indi, I will eat. In Meroitic, we have the end. Senyo and Aman, the patron will bow in reverence to Amen. Again, in the sense that we can see not only that there's in a sense cognate terms between Meroitic and Beha, we also see grammatical features. The evidence is clear. Tocharian and Karasi was a popular media among Upper Egyptians and Meroites before the Meroites invented Meroitic script. As a result, it was nativized Meroitic language spoken by a major group of Meroites. So, of course, many of the Meroitic people, because of the fact that, in a sense, were Buddhists, then it would be natural for them to have in a sense, began to lexicalize many Tocharian terms that were in Buddhism into Meroitic, since many of them practiced the Buddhist philosophy. The Meroitic script is almost identical to many of the Karasti signs, as I showed you earlier, used to write Tocharian. It is interesting to note that over 7 of the Karasti and Meroitic signs have not only similar shape, but also the same sound value. Yeah, here you can see some of the Meroitic signs and compared to the Karasti. So you can see that there's a lot of cognition because many of them are so similar. Griffin has divided the Meroitic writing into 2 different forms, according to the shape of the Meroitic signs. At various points in history, the 2 stages of Meroitic writing were called archaic and late. In deciphering Meroitic inscriptions, it is important that you refer to Griffin 1911a so you can learn how each Meroitic symbol appeared at various stages in the evolution of the Meroitic writing. Archaic Meroitic dates from the 2nd century BC to the 1st century AD. The Meroitic writing from the 1st century AD to the end of the Meroitic Empire is called Late Meroitic. Very important to understand these two stages in relation to the Meroitic writing system. Here we see the couple Mateye and Abacarda. They stand under the inner wings of the sun disk. Mateye wears her hair with a top knot and cornrows. This man may be either Mateye's husband or father. I am uncertain because the words Abba, can be interpreted as her father, or maybe as a man. Here you can look at this. Now, when you look at this, now look, here we have, in a sense, Abacarda, you see, and we see her top knot, but we also see on her, look at that swastika. Look at that swastika on her skirt. You see? Look at that swastika on her skirt. And this shows, in a sense, the relationship between, and how this lady was probably a Buddhist. And on this inscription reads, Pescio, Woshi Nesori, Iniabakarda, Kelo Wine, Akamshe. And this translates, Isis the good, Osiris the eternal. Abacarda gives permission for the offering of this object of respect, Metiye, to acquire greatness and protection. The inscription in front of the woman reads, Woshine Sore, Yane Meteye, Kowiato, Maha Ine, Sha Oa Tene. And the translation is, Isis the good, Osiris the eternal. Meteye, renew her honor down the path to abundant alms giving. The patron Mateye has commenced the rebirth. So this was a funerary stela. But this is the first inscription. It was this inscription. Yes. It was this inscription. Musawarat. Yes. It was this inscription that allowed me to really decipher Meroitic. And it took, I saw this, but it took me years to really understand it. And I couldn't really understand it until I had discovered. And what this says is that you see these signs, you can read it from right to left, and you see the following words. Nim pata patut. Nem means tendency, pak means to aim, and ote means wonderment. In other words, in a sense, this is from Masawarat as Sufra, the interpretation of this nam pak ote means the tendency is to aim for the wonderment. And then I just put sex. I mean, and it was easy in a sense because we see his penis and we see that he's about to have sex with this woman. And I mean, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? It's kind of pornographic, but at the same time, it was very interesting in a sense that this also, the words, when you read them in a sense in Tocharian, they tell you exactly what it means. And I mean, isn't sex a wonderful thing when you're young? When you're young, sex is fun. The Musawat Es-Sufra inscription. Musawat inscription is a double entendre. A double entendre is a figure of speech, which is a spoken phrase, is devised to be understood in either of two ways. Thusly, we read Nemakaote, or the tendency, translated, the tendency is to spread over someone, indeed the wonderment of sex. We can also read the inscription as Nim-Akarate. The tendency indeed is to desire sex. Meroitic Kade may correspond to colloquial Sudanese Arabic, karmet, to penetrate, the desire to have something, sex, food, or drink. So again, in a sense, this inscription from Musawarad Es-Sufra, it says, it reads, the tendency is to spread over someone, indeed, the wonderment of sex. Yes. It's not too many of us that don't like to make love. But the most important thing to remember is that here we have, in a sense, two Sudanese students, you see? And you can see today, look at this. Look at this board. This board that's written in Arabic, in the Arabic writing. Yes, look at this. This board is written in the Arabic writing. And we find that this board, which is used in madrasas today, in schools in the Sudan today, look at that Meroitic inscription. Look at that Meroitic text. That was written, in a sense, 4,000 years ago. Look at that. Yes. Well, not 4,000, maybe 3,000. 3,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. But look at this continuity. This shows the continuity of literacy in Africa. You know, all the way back from Meroitic times today, in a sense, where they're writing in Arabic, and you can see the same text, the same textual things. What a great testimony to 4,000 years of literacy. You can go to my Patreon to see the slides. You'll find me on Twitter at Dr. Clyde Winters 8. Follow me on TikTok.com at Clyde Winters 3 to view my shorts. Again, in a sense, here you're on my YouTube channel. Here you can see many of my hundreds, almost 400 videos on all aspects of Black history. And you can see my shorts here. And don't just come here to see my lives. Also look at my videos, you know. And you can order my books at Amazon.com. Again, some of my books that relate to Tocharian, I've already discussed them. You know, the Meroitic and the language and literature of the Meroitics, of the Meroitic language, the Meroitic chamber of Philae, the Kushite prince, Agenadad, archaeological decipherment of various scripts, and Meroitic relations with Tocharian and the Nile Valley language. Get these books. All these books can help you to learn how to read Meroitic, and you too can become a researcher. You too can be able to tell the stories of these great Black people. Also, other books that can help you to understand Meroitic is get my book, African Historical Linguistics. This can tell you how you can use comparative linguistics to study African languages if you're interested in learning about how to study these languages. And also in my book, Archaeological Decipherment of Ancient Writing Systems. In this book, I break down how I deciphered the Olmec writing, the Proto-Sumerian, Meroitic, and Indus Valley writing. I tell you how I deciphered all these scripts, and I give you examples. And of course, my book, Meroitic Writing and Literature. Get that book so you can learn more about Meroitic. Go to Amazon.com. Don't be square. Get these books. And also support in a sense Yoshimad the genius. And Yoshimad the genius, he's a great person. He can really, in a sense, provide you with a lot of important materials that can help you to be able to make your program a success. Support Yoshimad the genius. He not only makes videos, he can do other things to produce work that can help you to be a success. Dorvell said, I have heard gymnosophists acculturated by the Greeks and became a term for pedophilia. I don't know anything about that. I only know that it was used to relate to the people who lived in Meroe, and they were Buddhist. They were Buddhist priests. Do I listen to indie music? I'm a little bit. I like music a little bit, but I mainly just listen to one person, and that's Yoshimata. I like his stuff. I like a lot of his stuff. Ancient Black Spirituality says, "Thank you for the lecture. I read your book on the Kushan related Meroitic months ago, but this lecture helped me understand your decipherment even more." I'm glad it helped you. And one good thing is that what I liked about ancient Black spirituality, what she does is that she provides some examples in her book Black Spirituality from my study of Meroitic. So Black Spirituality, Jada Prasad, she's a great young scholar, and you guys should try to buy her book, Black Spirituality.
Collected paths of ancient lore, metaphysical keys to unlock the door. A book written by Jada Prasad with the guided visions of Yoshimo. Ancient Black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony, cosmic melanated energy, the spirits are within me, our history. Ancient Black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony, cosmic melanated energy, the spirits are within me, our history.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Jada Prasad's book. Jada and her sister, they hopefully are going to turn out more and more books. Her sister's written a very fine book that is kind of young adult literature that you could have your children read and stuff. So you should try to check her out. And I like the fact that in Jada in her book African Ancient Black Spirituality, she has some examples from my book on the Meroitic language. But Meroitic is a beautiful view in a sense. We'll try to check it out. I hope that you guys, in a sense, can get some of my other books, and it's very important in a sense that you understand our Black spirituality. But a lot of this comes from our roots, and I'm going to play again, in a sense, Yoshimod's song on FBA roots. Yes, he hasn't yet, in a sense, made a video for this, and so I just added these pictures to it.
But their plans soon fail. See, Dr. Clyde's light shines beyond bright. We the black aboriginals are righteous in this fight. We the black aboriginals are righteous in this fight. European tales, they twist it well. FBA roots, FBA FBA roots, FBA roots, FBA roots.
No, you got to go to Yoshimod, the genius. Go to Yoshimod. He has a YouTube channel. You can go to Gumroad and you can buy all of his videos. He has at yoshimod.gumroad. You will find, in a sense, some of the other great videos and other music that Yoshimod has produced. He's a genius. This guy, he loves us so much. He gives us so much to make us think about who we are, And here's another. I think I played this earlier, but here's another great video by Yoshimod, because truly Yoshimod is the genius, and Yoshimod, in a sense, is someone that we should all, in a sense, try to listen to and try to, because it's a lot of things that he can teach us. Because he does, in a sense, he has written his music, he has made these videos so that we can be aware of a lot of stuff, that sometimes, we don't know. And the reason that we don't know is because of the fact that we're unable, in a sense, to process a lot of this stuff,
Our information has been infiltrated. Yeah, you have to do this alone. Let's go. The information has been infiltrated. Yeah, you have to do this on your own, but you're not alone. You're not alone. Nah, I say you're not alone. You're not alone. I know you're not alone. I'll get you up on this road. Say you're not alone. I'll get you up on this road. Your information has been infiltrated. That's what I'm saying. You have to do this on your own. My information has been infiltrated. But you're not on your own. Jig is up, time up. Make us switch up, time up. Jig is up, time up. Make us switch up, time yeah. The jig is up, time now. Make us switch up, kinda. The jig is up, time's up. Time to switch up, time to switch up. Give me told us how to die, we come back. Oh, make told us to do when we come back. Hear what I say, me, no disrespect, but I see something wrong with this dialect. Teach us the knowledge to move on. Start repeating old same song. We the matrix because I'ma put us on. If you afraid to evolve, you can move on. Ain't no time for no backtracks. I don't know, it's that ultimate payback. With my popcorn in my view, you think they watching me? They're watching you. Time to write a new script for a baby. But you stuck on Bill Gates going crazy. He ain't in my peripheral. Something wrong when you have no control over your damn self. Can't teach wealth if you are against wealth. Ain't no shortcuts over here. Soon as you get it, it all disappear. Ain't no such thing as fast money. If you in the spirit of slow honey, it's good to know the history. But on the cool, that's just a part of me. So I pledge allegiance here while I'm breathing, that I don't get involved with all the scheming. I'm saying I'm leaving for this here reason. You don't see what's beyond what you so-called the truth. My information has been infiltrated. Yeah, you have to do this alone. That's what we're saying. Yeah, the information has been infiltrated. Yeah, you have to do this on your own, but you're not alone. I say you're not alone. You're not alone. I know you're not alone. I'll get you up on this road. Say you're not alone. I'll get you up on this road. Your information has been infiltrated. That's what I'm saying. You have to do this on your own. been infiltrated. And let's do this alone, but you're not on your own. Jig is up, time up, make us switch up, time up. Jig is up, time up, make us switch up, time yeah. The jig is up, time up, make us switch up. The jig is up, time's up, time to switch up, time to switch up.
This is a message to the B1 community. It's time to switch up. Know what I'm saying?
You know, again, it's a beautiful thing, and Yoshi's got a lot of good stuff, and you guys should be supportive, and you can go to his.
I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. What's it that you don't want me to say? I've been big on my listen to me. Sometimes I feel like the late that I made. On my grandmother was in the maid. Leave me behind it and let me astray. What is the truth that was going on with me? Don't be cool and just have a nice day. Some things are just easy to say. Wish I could stop me from breathing a day. Don't have no food and they swimming on me. Out in the ocean away from the bay. I've been drifting along far away. I went up in to keep them away. Say what you say, but I just cannot stay. Force me to lane and they want me to drink. Can't do the crime, they don't suit me. Mine unfortunately, ain't my sorrow. So many listen to Carlo, living a borrow, living a borrow, living a car, shooting a hollow, shooting a porno, about the Cardinals, I'm in all your love in the eye, all know, seeing that is a pyramid, I get it, some again, that is affirmative, all of them is a biz, got the hook to the ridge, let the color quiz, that's what the mission is, we gotta get it big, music I'm feeling it, tired of the ceiling is, all like I'm feeling this, feeling we're killing this, feeling this, swimming this message, off of the shore into the abyss, deep in, I'm in ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. Be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. Horse of a genie, what a fiend, take you to Feeny. How would they see me? Sleazy bikini, nothing but weenie. Wearing a beanie, feeling bikini. Changing the scenery, Swimming in misery, so many lies of me. Really got you on TV, believe me. Pulling your memories, killing the name. They never just admitted they got me. Machiavelli could have never been sloppy. We can see it's nothing but copies. Listen, cooked up in that lobby. Billie Holiday just was a body. George Clinton committed them robberies. It seems he went for the lottery. They saw falls in one category. We all call it a mystery. I'm the villain you all see. They glory to those who all see. Pendergrass set up like Eddie Murphy. No car crash, they just hating on me. Gotta make a comeback like Bill Cosby. Kobe Bryant playing conspiracy. Get me back for taking a knee. But they just making at me. Like on a turban, hit when I'm swerving. Black house cursing, sipping up a curving. More laceration, installation, no motivation. Straight elimination, your innovation, alienation, annihilation. All for the taking, taking like taking. Open faking, less personation. Moving saving, change like Raven. Send me David, had to shake 'em, moving brave on you craving. Even Jaden save 'em, Taylor paving. Who we faking, Harry make 'em misbehaving. We the brave before we drown in the water, got a deep dive. I'm in the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. Think they don't want me to stay. There's always one who just got rain. Came from the cave, came from the bay. Created the slave, step out of water. Section is harder. Why do they bother? Go for my head, first like a daughter. Same boat, same fate, only in slaughter. Still dope jet, bro. Same as a father. Justify life, why should it be harder? On my nation, make things water. See how they come, all as one. Force me to gun, force me to the slum. Live up the crumb, from father's hung. Places beyond, live as one. Betraying the nuns, speak for the young. Nobody's dumb, maybe just someone they young. Maverick approach, truth by Yojo. And the kind will grow, just as the old go came off the old fall. E-I-E-I-O-E-O song. Turning the wheel until it's all gone. Gotta go deeper, dive with the people. Some turn lethal, neighbors is evil. Go from the right, give up the fight. No human right, Kill him on sight, many despair, many beware. I see that I'm there, I see that I'm here. Ready with flares, calling all bad. All Jennings are here, we the hills shall not disappear. As hard as my chin, deep dive. I may ocean and I may be hollow. And in any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. And in any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may dive deep.
You know, you can find Yoshimod's work. Go to yoshimod.gumroad. Support this brother. This brother's making fantastic stuff. He's making this beautiful music. You can find it on his YouTube channel, or you can buy it at yoshimod.gumroad.com. Come on, support this brother. Support his videos. This man is making the music that's going to, in a sense, lead us into the 21st century with positivity. It's not like his stuff is not like that stuff that you hear from Sexy Red. His stuff is more down to earth. His stuff is more oriented towards helping us to realize who we are, you know, and who we can become. It's very important that we do this. You know, what up, Garrett McCrae? What up, Doe? You know, again, in a sense, is that that I hope you'll support that. Yes, and also we're going to be teaching our Black British History course. You may want to join it. I'll give you a little bit more information now. Hi, family. This is Clyde Winters again. How are you doing? We got a new course coming up. This new course is going to be Part 3, When Britain Was Black. In Part 3, we're going to talk about the Black British Romans, the Black Emperors, the Black Moors. We're going to talk about the beautiful castles and homes that these Black people built in Europe. We're going to talk about Black royalty. Join us for Part 3, When Britain Was Black. We're going to teach the class on Monday, beginning September 9th. The class is going to be at 7:30 p.m. British time and 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States. Join us for this class. Learn about the Black British Romans, the Black Emperors, the Moors, the castles that they lived in, and Black royalty. Join us for the third part in the Black British History online course. Join us. You can register for the course at sistershanice.gumroad. Yes, go to Gumroad and you can register for the class at sistershanice.gumroad.com. Join us for the class beginning September 9th.
When is the last time you read a real book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Just don't forget to give thanks to the author. Put time into the book. Thanks. Black history gems. Black history. Black history gems. Essays. Black history gems. Essays. Black history.
Garrett McCrae says, Garrett McCrae says, I think ancient Chinese came from ancient Buddhists from Africa. The ancient Chinese, they weren't Buddhists because the ancient, the first black Chinese civilization, it was the Shia civilization, goes back to 2000, 1500 BC. So it was already black people there. Buddhism came to China much later, you know. Cade's and double consciousness is deep, all in the hood. Yeah, Cade's is very deep. And you have to understand in the sense that Cade's is a mental illness. Yes, Cade's is a mental illness. And many black people suffer from Cade's. All of us have a little Cade's. All of us a little bit in a sense. Can't help but have been influenced by Cade's. And one of the reasons that we've been influenced by Cade's is the fact, in a sense, is that how sometimes we're color conscious, and we're color conscious because the fact, in a sense, is that sometimes we may feel that light skinned people look better than dark skinned people, and light skinned people sometimes feel that dark skinned people look better than black people. So we do have this in a sense Cade's and double consciousness, which is a pandemic. It is a pandemic. Cade's is a pandemic in relation to who and what we are, Derek McCrae says Trump had Cade's too. Then culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Nah. When we talk about that, is that I think in a sense is that he's a white supremacist. I don't think in a sense he's even really worried about culture. But if you remember, a lot of people, back in the day, a lot of people, they followed, a lot of black people used to hang around Trump a lot, and they admired Trump, but Cage, nah. Cage is something that some of us suffer from. And we suffer from Cage because it destroys us. It takes away your consciousness. It leaves you lacking any sense of who you are. 50 Cent, yeah, most like I said, most people do suffer from Cage because the only way that you can really fight Cage is you have to, in a sense, the only way you can fight Cage is that you have to want to be that person, in a sense, who's trying to find out more about who and what they are. And the thing is, this is that Cage is a pandemic, and Cage has caused many problems in the black community, mainly because the fact, in a sense, is that we don't really want to admit the importance of this terrible ailment that can affect any of us at any time. So we have to try to fight Cage. Let's kind of look at this for a minute. Okay, Cage. Let's look at Cage. Cage is culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. Black History Gems. That's what I call this weekly program. Weekly talk to fight the white supremacy pandemic that causes Cage. This white supremacy pandemic has been in existence for the past 200 years in the form of colonialism, Jim Crowism, and apartheid. It is a virulent disease that causes mental illness, resulting from psychological harm, depression, empty self-esteem, and in extreme cases, produce a feeling of hopelessness and empty self-esteem. Yes. We have to fight Cage. I was born in a racist system of worldwide white supremacy. Yes. You see, we experience many contradictions of life living under worldwide white supremacy. I was born in a world in which a minority population would control almost my very being. If I didn't know that God, my creator, is Lord of the universe, I would think that he was Lord. but I know in a sense that that God controls all. Having said this, I know my life is one of contradictions. Contradictions that remain unexplained until I learned from Nellie Fuller that we are prisoners of war. Yes, we are prisoners of war. The European promotion of white supremacy has caused my double consciousness. White supremacy affects my choices subconsciously. It decided for me who I would recognize as beautiful. Yes, when I was little, I thought that Marilyn Monroe was my girlfriend. You know, I'm what, 5, 6, 7 years old. I felt that she was my girlfriend because she was white and everybody said she was pretty. So, you know, I mean, hey, they controlled it. So I was suffering from AIDS. White supremacy would also affect my choices subconsciously. It decided who I would recognize as a symbolic representation of the mother. Yeah, we looked at TV shows. We saw these white families, and we believed in the sense that this was the only way. You had to have a white mother and a white family with the pool in the backyard. I lived on the 3rd floor at 4705 South Evans, and it did not have, in a sense, a pool. I wanted that pool. I wanted that bubble. I wanted that life. These choices were made for me through the constant hammering into my mind that whites were supreme via the media, most powerful tools of persuasion, schools, books, movies, and TV. Yes, yes, yes. I was suffering from racism because racism is toxic. To fight AIDS, culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome, you must stay black first. Be one through acceptance of your African ancestry and true knowledge of. The aim of knowing your history is to strengthen your cultural awareness of Black and African people so that this can help you to have the self-confidence to fight AIDS, culturally acquired immune deficiency identity syndrome. Afrocentrism is the ideational code that Blacks can use to conceptualize the universe in which they live and interact. Culture can be defined as man's learned acculturation. Our only way to be safe, our only way in a sense to fight AIDS is promote our history. We had to promote our history. We had to understand in a sense it's through our history that we can find in a sense salvation. See, that's the only way that we can fight AIDS. Yes, yes, yes. We are here to fight AIDS, culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Yes, we have to do it. It's very good. Muslims try to be Arab. Yeah, a lot of some of the Muslims over here. We have many of the Muslims over here, Nation of Islam, Sunni Orthodox Muslims. Most of them don't have any identity. They don't believe in themselves. Most of them, in a sense, believe that they should. Most of them believe in the sense that they should follow whatever the Arabs say overseas, instead of recognizing, in the sense, that they're FBA. You have to recognize your FBA because, see, you are FBA. And, Yoshima, the genius, has tried to explain to us our roots. Look and understand FBA roots.
But their plans soon fail. See, Dr. Clyde's light shines beyond bright. We the black aboriginals are righteous in this fight. FBA roots, FBA roots.
That's right. You just saw that copper color. Yeah, the copper colored. That's who we are. Because see, we must fight AIDS. We must fight AIDS. AIDS is a debilitating disease. AIDS, in a sense, can only be avoided. AIDS can only be eliminated by understanding your history. You have to, in a sense, understand your history. It's through learning your history from an Afrocentric perspective that you can, in a sense, be free of AIDS, culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome. We have to fight this. We have to, in a sense, seek the truth. And the only way you can learn the truth, in a sense, is by understanding who and what we are. We have to, in a sense, understand the reality of who we are, you see. So please, and again, thank you for coming. And support all of the, support the people, buy my books, please.
Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you spent bread on a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Create animation from a book. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Mexico. Oh, my language and literature. 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 Next, time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you spent bread on a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Create animation from a book. Oh, my language and literature. 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 See why he's the World Wide Web warrior. See why his research is undefeatable. See why he's a World Wide Web warrior. His research stands undefeatable. If you learn something new, then subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't just come for the views. Purchase a book and use the tool.
You know, it's very important in a sense that yes, maybe our parents didn't know everything. Maybe our parents, weren't as powerful as we may have wanted. Garrick McCrae says, "I feel all this you speak on. Tears of thinking about my father's way of trying to be a man. He followed Jehovah's Witness. They wanted him to imitate them. That wasn't the real him. True, but the point is this: is that you have to still. I love so much my father. Yeah, my father wasn't always right, but he was my father. And what made it so beautiful is that he taught me to be a man. He taught me in the sense that I had to, in a sense, love my family, take care of my family. And this is very important, is that it's through loving your family, taking care of your wife and your children, and being that man, being that guy. You had to be that example in a sense that can lead us towards truth, That's the only way we can have sunshine. Just Eve, yes, that's the only way we can have sunshine. That's the only way that we can have music in a sense. That's the only way that we can find ourselves, And that's the most important thing. And what is Ancient Black Spirituality? That books are the foundation for telling our history and creating more from this knowledge. True. And I'm so proud of Ancient Black Spirituality, Jada Prasad. Because Jada, in a sense, she's been following me since I was with Reverend Matthews. And what I loved about Jada is that she really seriously took my word. And now she's becoming a researcher. Now she's writing great books. Get her book, Black Spirituality, and get her sister's book, The Past Is Not Past. Get that book too and be supportive. Carol Asburn says, "Were blacks the original Arabs, did a black person develop the Arabian script? Great plantation great presentation today. Music is awesome. Also, I'm 80 years old, and I really appreciate what you do. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for your support. Yeah, the Arabic script. I read a book years ago, and they based the Arabic script. Some people say it's based on Egyptian, but there's so many different scripts. One day, I think I'll do a presentation maybe soon. Who knows? I'll do a presentation on the various scripts. We've invented so many scripts. In fact, Carol, I have several videos on this website that deals with the ancient writing systems that we created. And again, in a sense, thank you for joining us today. And please come back next week. And please support the people. I mean, because see, if you're not going to stand up, support the people who do. Please support the people who do.
If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears, tell them to stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck your control your atmosphere. Distraction away from me. I am you and you control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck your energy. It's a distraction away from me. I am you and you are me. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Don't follow nobody but yourself. Don't follow, I said nobody but yourself. Don't follow nobody but yourself. Don't follow yourself. Nobody, yourself. Nobody but yourself.
Hi, family. This is Clyde Winters again. How are you doing? We got a new course coming up. This new course is going to be Part 3, When Britain Was Black. In Part 3, we're going to talk about the Black British Romans, the Black Emperors, the Black Moors. We're going to talk about the beautiful castles and homes that these Black people built in Europe. We're going to talk about Black royalty. Join us for Part 3, When Britain Was Black. We're going to teach the class on Monday, beginning September 9th. The class is going to be at 7:30 p.m. British time and 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States. Join us for this class. Learn about the Black British Romans, the Black Emperors, the Moors, the castles that they lived in, the Black royalty. Join us for the third part in the Black British History online course. Join us. You can register for the course at Sister Shanice .gumroad. Yes, go to Gumroad and you can register for the class at sistershanice.gumroad.com. Join us for the class beginning September 9th.